And we're live. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite ex-truck driver in the whole wide world, and a very nice living room. Uh, the uh, the living room, and I will be hosting the show. Hey, look,
Yeah, I
there's
have a
that.
white. Hey there. I got a light spot coming in as the sun's coming up. I was trying to block it, but hey,
Hey, we're not
we'll
trying
live
to
through
be.
it.
Yeah, we're not trying to be perfect. It's so right before we went live. Patrick and I were actually talking about how after the election, the left and the leadership of the left, including George Soros, Jack at Twitter, um, and several other major left people, are going to be working with China to actually destroy the U.S. or highly disrupt the usage of the US dollar on a global scale. Now, that's not a problem for Trump. It's why Trump, and it's why I brought it to your attention that Trump launched the digital emergency bonds linked with the FedNow distribution network, because you have to remember the FedNow network is linked with every checking account in America. Every personal checking account and every business checking account. Where Trump, all he's got to do is airdrop the new currency. That's it. He doesn't have to print. He doesn't have the issues that JFK had. JFK had to physically print up the Kennedy dollar and then try and inject it into the system. Well, that was easily blocked because they just slow walk it. They're like, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll print a few of those up. We're sending them out. Don't worry, boss. We got this. Then 30 days later, or around then, JFK shot. Lyndon B. Johnson comes in, and no more Kennedy dollar. Problem solved. Well, with Trump, that's not the case. All he does is nationalize the currency and then airdrop the replacement currency, and it's it's the simplest way, and it will work because all he has to do is replace one for one in your account. That's it. That's it. And the old currency, the physical currency, will be accepted for maybe 6 months. You know, something like that. Um, they'll basically. It's why all these places are like, hey, we don't have any quarters. We don't have any nickels. Can you spare a couple of quarters? Can you spare a couple of dimes?
Brother.
It's they're rolling up the physical money and they're going solely digital. That's that. Everyone who's ever said, "Oh, they're going to put us into a digital currency only." Yep, here it comes. And the reason that Trump's doing this is really because he doesn't have another choice. He has to get the currency out into the pockets of the people. That's the key. That's usage of a currency is the number one uh, reason that a currency lasts. It's that's it. It isn't the faith of the American, government and all that bullshit. If the people use it, it will last. Now they can hyperinflate it, which, mind you, Trump is gonna. People don't understand. Right, Bretton Woods. Right after Bretton Woods, which was like 1950, 1951, I think. That's what kicked America into high gear. You talk about the good life. That was the rollout of the good old days when a husband could work a full time job, have a house, a car. The wife didn't have to work. That was the rollout after Bretton Woods. That's what we're going to have again because Trump is going to issue and Trump is going to do the reverse of the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan was basically the funding of the reconstruction of Europe after World War II.
Right.
Well, America is going to get a Marshall Plan. And you talk about a boom. Holy shit. We're talking airports, highways, bridges. Trump's going to make it rain new currency. And it isn't going to be hyperinflational because it's going to be structured in a way that the inflation is going strictly into the infrastructure. Unlike the progressive system where the inflation was injected into the progressive system, where it was injected into the universities, injected into the colleges, injected into the nonprofits, injected into all these other progressive outlets and progressive uh, entities to help them grow. Trump is going to have this Marshall Plan, and it's going to help the American people, not the progressive structure. And the progressive structure is going to be, they are going to run to cryptocurrencies like you ain't never seen before. The announcement that Square put in $50 million into Bitcoin is just a drop in the bucket. of the amount of money that's going to be pushed into Bitcoin is going to be friggin' crazy. Because as soon as Trump announces the new currency and the exchange rate, just like Nixon did, you got to understand we're transitioning out of what Nixon did and what's that Russian son of a bitch that was I think he was Nixon's chief of staff. Uh,
Oh, his daughter is on CNN now.
yeah, yeah. Ah, I can't remember his name. Uh, is that guy set up the petrodollar, where the U.S. dollar was now fucking backed uh, by the petro oil. That's all changing, my friends. We're going to have a national currency that is not going to be the global reserve currency. Trump wants the US dollar as structured now to die because he knows that is the currency of the global progressive system. And if you kill that, you kill the national progressive movement. Well, what is the global progressive movement going to run to? What currency? It isn't the euro. They're in deep shit. It isn't the US dollar because of the exchange rate that Trump is going to slap on every dollar outside the US. It's going to be Bitcoin. They're going to flood into Bitcoin more and more. And if you want to know if Trump's going to win, let me just re
Brzezinski.
reset that Jack just put $50 million into Bitcoin. They know they're going to lose this election, but also that doesn't mean they're just going to walk away and go, "Oh, we lost the election. Oh shucks." They're going to drag this out. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at 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 Trump and try and just block him at every angle. Now, on yesterday's show, and I just want to do this real quick, I had a few people reach out and say, "What's this crap with Al Gore and some guy named Blood?" And that's all bullshit. Well, here you go. Let me share a screen with you here.
That was Mika Brzezinski. Was that woman's name?
Brzezinski, yeah. Okay. This is from Forbes magazine. Blood and Gore making a killing on anti-carbon investment hype. Now, who is Blood? Let's scroll up a little bit here. His name is actually David Blood. All right, now David Blood, the former chief of Goldman Sachs Asset Management, co-founded London-based GIM in now GIM, that's a whole nother topic, in 2004. All right. Now, this guy, David Blood, That's who I wanted you guys to look into, who his uncle is and the parking lot that his uncle owns. It's a little bitty parking lot in the middle of London. And apparently, it's the only thing that David Blood's uncle owns. All around the parking lot is some of the most valuable land in the world. And then you've got this little, maybe 45 car parking lot. You find out who that guy is, and it'll all start to fit together. And if you can actually find a picture of David Blood's uncle, then kind of there's a way you can search for images online. You find a picture of that guy and then search the internet for pictures of him. You'll see him in some very odd pictures, some very old pictures. Just saying. And there's a lot more to this than people realize. We are fighting evil here. And evil has a name. And the surname is Blood. Now, Rothschild. Does anyone know the original name of the Rothschild family?
Bauer.
Bauer. What is the translation of Rothschild in English? Red Shield. All right. Now, if you go back we're going way back, folks. If you go back in history during the help me out, Patrick, the war between the church and the Muslims.
Oh, the Crusades?
The Crusades. All right. The Crusades. There was a group of soldiers, let's say, that protected certain people and certain assets in the church. And that group of warriors led to and joined with a bloodline. And that bloodline led to the Rothschilds.
Now, there were three different contingents of knights that took place in the Crusades. The first was actually the Hospitallers. They were betrothed to the Pope and not the King of Jerusalem. Along came the Knights Templar. They too were betrothed to the Pope and not the King of Jerusalem. And then the Teutonic Knights came out of Germany, and they were betrothed to the King of Jerusalem, as well as the Pope, but that was somewhat down the line. There was a dotted line from the Pope. But yeah, if those three were in place over in the Crusades, supposedly the Knights Templar took an oath of chastity. But
Right.
we know what that works. Or doesn't.
The Rothschilds or the Red Shields, uh, after the Rothschilds basically made a shitload of money off of the Napoleon, what is called the Napoleon trade. It's where Rothschild basically took over the Bank of London or England. I think it was England, wasn't it, Patrick?
I think it was yes, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, one of the Rothschild daughters married someone who changed his name to Blood after they got married. And that's the lineage of this guy who lives in London. This is the bloodline. Now, mind you, this bloodline has ties to the Queen of England. This bloodline has ties to George W. Bush. This bloodline is starts to really show up in the late 1800s with the creation of the Fabian Socialists. And the Fabian Socialist is the group that created the progressive movement that went after America. That was their job, to infiltrate America. The Rothschilds have led all of that. Now, the key is that you have to understand the bloodline. The bloodline's key because the bloodlines and the secret societies and all that of the universities in America are all actually tied to the bloodline of this guy in London. And the reason that we've heard all these rumors of like sacrifice and that all these secret societies in these universities have all of these rituals they have to do and all that all actually ties in with this guy Blood in London. And what the symbolism, right? Remember on the island, the Epstein Island, on the top of the temple, what animal was on top of the temple? It was an owl. The owl represents a pagan symbol. Well, not really pagan. Moloch. Right. Patrick, have you ever heard of Moloch?
I have.
All right, and it is in the Bible, Moloch, especially the Old Testament, and I'm talking the old Hebrew Sanskrit shit. All right, Moloch represented by the owl because it lives in the dark and it sees in the dark and it hunts in the dark. Well, there's also a place here in America that a lot of you people will know. Alex Jones infiltrated it many, many years ago. It's out in Washington, I think. Uh, uh, I'm trying to remember it. Help me out, Patrick, if you can. Uh,
I'm not. I'm not. I don't know this thing in Washington.
It's and
Grove,
huh?
the Grove.
Yes, yes.
That was actually Lone Alpha Wolf threw that up. That I know about. That was actually Nixon went.
Now,
Yeah.
let me pull up a picture of all right. Here we go. Let's use this one. All right. Now, I'm going to share my screen. I don't know how well you can actually see that. It's pretty small, but that right there is the Owl of Moloch at the Grove.
And that
All right.
is Bale. Bale is the name of the owl.
Yeah, but the entity that is associated with the owl
Yes.
and where the origins are at is Moloch. All right. Now, here's something even more interesting. New York City, uh, the Bale statue. Wait, no. Here we go. All right. Now, where's that? There we go. Where is it at? There's a statue in the middle of New York City that is an arch. No, I can't find it right now. Here, let me close that. All right. It's an arch. And what it is it's an archway and it's a statue dedicated to Baal. The reason I'm bringing this all up is we're up against some bad fucking people. And these bad fucking people got some bad fucking juju behind them. And if you believe in God, you gotta understand that there's an opposite side to that coin. And we are up against pure evil on this. And as we move forward, it is going to get worse spiritually. There's going to be a lot of things exposed. Yeah. Hang on a second, Arch. Yeah. Oh, shit. All right. Patrick Lone Alpha Wolf. The arch from Temple of Pale to stand in New York City. Let me type that in. Right here. All right, let's go images. Voila. Bammo, baby. Great job. All right, I'm going to share this screen. Now, this was moved here. All righty, Patrick, can you see that?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Harry met Sally.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Now, this archway, they don't show it here, but this here, according to legend, now this is legend, but I believe it to be true, that this archway, if you play certain music around this archway, or you create a certain frequency around this archway, it glows. And if you walk through it while that frequency is going, that it's a way of opening yourself up to receive certain other frequencies that enter your body, knowledge. And it is, I'm telling you, there's some bad shit coming, guys, because what I'm trying to bring up is this, along with other archways like this around the world, right? There's arches like this all over the world. Let me get this. All righty. These are all over the world. And what's going on right now with oh God, what my I got so much shit in my head. What it what is the uh, the thing that they turned on uh, SARS. No. It's the uh, shit. The collider where they say CERN. Yeah, Patrick Lone Alpha Wolf. They CERN. CERN creates a frequency. All right. Now, that frequency is connected with these. All right. And there was a tunnel created and built. As I put this all together, you guys are going to figure it out and it'll all make sense. All right. They're doing this all because, all right, this was the ceremony that they did when they opened the tunnel. Let me open this. Now, mind you, this tunnel that they opened is supposedly a tunnel that connects one area of land with another area of land. Now, would you have a character like that in a ceremony for opening up a tunnel for car traffic? No. And if you got time, look up yes, right there. Patrick, Lone Alpha Wolf. The Goddard Tunnel Ritual. All right. Look that up. This is all going to become relevant very soon. Because if you think that the last tool they have available to them is the corona, you've lost your mind. They're going to switch on some shit that is going to try and change the frequency of the earth. And when they do that, right, when they switch that on and try and change the frequency of the earth, that is what led to the floods of Noah's time, was the changing of the DNA. And you may have heard of a little thing called the Tower of Babel. That was linked with the pyramids. That was linked with a lot of other locations on Earth that at one time they were trying to change the frequency of the Earth. And if you change the frequency of the Earth, then you unplug the Earth from the broadcast of the Creator. And the earth is no longer influenced by the frequency of God.
Pardon me.
It's it I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, this is what you know how we've read in Revelations that there's a war against good and evil for the earth. That's it. This is it. This is the war for the earth. This is how they remove the earth from the influence of God, is they change the frequency of the earth. In the 1930s, there was an agreed upon frequency that most music conductors wrote their music in. They changed it. They altered that slight frequency, and that change is what, right after that change, they introduced jazz. They introduced rock and roll. And I know this sounds all old fuddy-duddy shit. They introduced this new frequency into the human experience, into the norm. 440, right. Patrick Lone Alpha Wolf, you're right there again. It's all about the frequencies. And as we move along, the shit is going to start to really get weird. And you're going to hear some weird shit coming out of some weird people. You're going to start hearing about radio stations that are changing frequencies. And there's going to be good ones and there's going to be bad ones. And it's the reason that Obama took the television broadcast off of
UHF.
Off of UHF and into digital. Believe me when I tell you, the next 4 years are gonna get freaky. We're gonna have some freaky shit going on. The Eiffel Tower is not what you think it is. The Statue of Liberty is not what you think it is. There's a lot of things around the world that have been put in place as amplifiers. It's why there are pyramids in America that go back thousands of years. And this is the second wave of this attempt. You want to talk about the end times? The next 4 years, you're going to have people saying, it's the end of the world. And they're going to have some fucking evidence. They're going to have some fucking proof. We're going to see some crazy shit. So Patrick, I know that you're a religious man. I know that that you know history. What are your thoughts on what I've said so far?
Well, there's a lot of woo-woo in it. I don't disagree that the battle between good and evil is certainly coming to a head, um, uh, and there are signs that Satan's army is ginning up for a big battle. Um, as a matter of fact, while you were doing this, I went to YouTube and the evil YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, evil.
Yeah, uh, there's a station where there's a outfit called ETWN, which is a Catholic network, and I was bringing up today's mass because after we're done here, I'm gonna watch today's mass just because I do it
What?
usually on a regular basis. I do it, but yeah, it's one of those. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah,
It's certainly
I
not
need
going
to
to.
touch home base.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
I don't blame you, brother. And I'm I'm not trying to frighten anybody. We know how this ends, but that don't mean it's going to be pleasant. There's there's some bad shit coming, but there's some good shit coming too.
yeah,
And
uh,
you really need to protect yourself with prayer, and you really need to figure out what side you're on and plant your feet damn strong. Read your Bible, uh, and get right with God, because as this moves along, the only thing we're going to have is prayer, because the rest is going to be chaos.
yep, yep.
And
No
that
question about that.
that's all I got to say about that right now.
Well, thank you, Cletus.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
welcome.
the, it's it's a significant topic to wrap your head around. A lot of us would like to ignore the possibility that this is going to take place. Um, but you can't. You can't. It's a reality. And if for no other reason than the salvation of your own soul, um,
Absolutely.
you know, he he comes like a thief in the night, and you may not live to see this final battle, but if you got your bags packed and you got your heart right, doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Doesn't really
That's
matter.
why
You're in a good place.
that's
Yeah.
why I don't worry about dying, because when I do die, I'm going to ask God and Jesus if they can send me back, uh, because I'm not done, whatever age I'm at. Or they they might just say, hey, you know what, Ben, you played your part, you did your job, have a seat and watch the show.
Yeah, there's
So,
limitations. There's limitations to how much you can claw your way back.
yeah, I don't think once I'm over there, I don't think they're going to let me back in.
Well, I don't think you want to come back, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably won't, because I know they got chocolate there.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't be
yeah.
having chocolate.
That's right.
Yeah, chocolate and coffee.
Right. Yes.
All right, guys and gals, we're gonna let you go. Not gonna do an actual Patreon show today because I got a lot of shows that I'm going on prior to the event on Saturday. I hope to see you guys here in Vegas, and other than that, Patrick, anything else you want to say?
Um, have fun tomorrow. Hope you folks in Vegas have a great time. And drive safe, Ben.
Absolutely, and I will be sharing the interviews that I'm doing on my Patreon channel. Uh, if you'd like, you can join and see every video I do, every interview, everything I do
Pardon
will
me.
be on my Patreon channel. So please join www.patreon.com/Bitcoin Ben. Thank you guys so much. Yes, Patrick.
Real fast. Thanks, Lone Alpha Wolf, for throwing those juicy bits out. Good stuff. And then there
Oh,
was a question. There was a question at the end. When will we see you on YouTube? From Consuelo. Yeah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
not. I'm thinking they might give me my channel back after the election. Maybe.
Yeah, but we're looking at an alternative
Yeah.
to supplement the Twitter, Facebook channels, possibly coming up with a video portal on Ben's website so that it's easier to find, and the chat element will be a little bit more robust than what we have here. So
Yeah.
D Live is one of the suggestions from Lone Alpha Wolf. We'll take a look at it, but for selfish reasons, it would probably be a video portal on Ben's site because it would drive more traffic there, and we would control the archives.
Yeah.
So that's where we're leaning towards. We have to talk with a couple of folks about solutions, but right now, it's viable.
Yep. And we basically want to create a page that we completely control, that no one can actually take down, and the videos off of that will go on to other platforms.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
oh it's going to be fun, and it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
So everyone have a great day. Uh, Patrick, love you, brother.
Love you. Adios, my
And
friend.
adios. I won't be doing a show tomorrow morning because I'll be getting ready for the event. So everyone have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon live here uh, from the event. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye now.